Hi there. If you've landed here, chances are you're exhausted and not just a little bit tired, but that bone deep, soul weary, wearing your moon boots, wading through treacle kind of tired. You've probably been telling yourself that you're just a bit stressed, or it's my age, or maybe it's my menopause. And you've been telling yourself, I just need to try a bit harder. Maybe if I ate more healthily, drank a bit less wine, exercised more and meditated every single day, maybe then I'd feel better. And maybe, like so many of the women I see in my clinic every day, you've had all the blood tests, been offered prescriptions for everything from antidepressants to pain meds to sleep meds, maybe even HRT. But underneath all of that, you're still feeling awful. In this video, I want to introduce you to a whole new way of thinking about your health and to help you understand what's really going on, the real reason you're stuck in exhaustion, brain fog, and rubbish sleep. Hi, I'm Dr. Marguerite. I'm an NHS GP turned functional medicine specialist, and I'm here to support you in reclaiming your vitality and living your most powerful chapter yet. But first up, I need to tell you something really important, and it is this. Your body is magnificent. She is wise, intelligent, and beautifully designed. And she has incredible systems to support you, protect you, and help you live an incredible life. But she's been working overtime using one of your most powerful systems, the stress response system. So when something stressful happens, say you have to swerve to avoid hitting a car, your heart starts to pound, you feel breathless, and everything tenses up, and you react in a split second. That's your adrenaline kicking in. That's your acute stress response working beautifully and quite literally saving your life. And then once the stress trigger has been dealt with, your adrenaline comes back down, your heart rate settles, and you might feel shaky for a while, but everything returns to normal. Now here's the thing. Your body has only one way to respond to stress. And it doesn't distinguish between swerving to avoid being hit by a car, or a bad Zoom call, maybe a fight with your partner, a night lying awake worrying, or a client suddenly pulling an order. To your body, stress is stress, and it does the one thing it knows how to do. It fires up your acute stress system and your body gets flooded with adrenaline. And that brings us on to the next thing. Because our body only has one way of responding, by triggering the acute stress response. And the truth is, we live in a world that's full of stress, all day, every day. So what happens when the stress signal doesn't really go away? Well, if you think about it, your alarm is being triggered all the time by the big stuff and the little stuff. All those emails every time you open your laptop. Maybe you're in a toxic relationship that swipes you off center over and over. Maybe it's financial stress that you're shouldering day in, day out. Or the perfectionism that always makes you go the extra mile and won't let you take the easy way. Perhaps it's people pleasing that has you saying yes over and over, even when you mean no, and even when you barely have time to breathe. Or maybe it's just that you are everything to everyone all the time, and there's never a moment of off. So instead of a quick blast of adrenaline, that stress response is activated over and over for days, weeks, even months at a time. And when this happens, your body does something that's kind of brilliant. She changes gear from an acute, moment-to-moment, adrenaline-based stress response into a much slower and more sustained stress response, your chronic stress response. And this is powered by a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your chronic stress hormone. Normally, cortisol is supposed to rise and fall during the rhythm of the day. So it's really high in the morning, helping you feel clear and bright and switched on. And then it drops steadily during the day to give you the energy to focus, to work, and do all the things that you have to do. And then it's at its lowest in the evening, so you can wind down towards the end of the day. So cortisol is not a static thing. It moves with your 24-hour body clock rhythm. But when you're living in a world of constant pressure, expectations, and overload, cortisol gets switched on and it stays on. And when that happens, your body hardwires itself into chronic stress mode. So rather than responding to situations and stress as they happen, your body gets stuck in chronic stress response in cortisol mode. And over time, weeks, maybe months, This cortisol mode affects everything in your body, from your thyroid to your menopause, your weight, your food choices, how your brain works, how sleep goes, your gut health, your mood system, everything. And this is why cortisol is your queen hormone. She's top dog. She calls all the shots. And it becomes like a full body pivot. You go from thriving with loads of energy, feeling happy and confident and vibrant, to feeling depleted, flat, overwhelmed, struggling to sleep, struggling to think straight, riding those mood wobbles. And when all of that goes on for long enough, you end up where so many of the women that I work with find themselves. You are stuck in survival mode, dragging yourself through the day, barely recognizing the woman that you've become. And while on the outside, your life might look fine, you might still look like you've got your shit together, your job, your business, your family, your social life, handling your responsibilities. On the inside, it's a different story. On the inside, you're a mess. Your body, your heart, and your soul are literally screaming at you. That is chronic stress patterning for you. And here's the real kicker. You don't even need to feel stressed for all of this to be happening. For so many of the women that I work with, chronic stress has just become their normal. It's like wallpaper. After a while, you barely even notice it's there. It's just the new normal. And we are told that this is just how midlife is, and we simply have to accept it. So here is what I see in my clinic all the time. Women who come in thinking, it's just my menopause, and blaming it all on their age, when the truth is that underneath it all, it's cortisol that's running the show. That chronic stress system that simply got stuck in on mode. And this constantly high, elevated cortisol is called hypercortisolemia. And this is what then creates a whole bunch of other health problems. So let's just have a look at a few of these. And they will probably sound quite familiar. So the first thing is your energy is all over the place. You wake up tired, even when you've been asleep all night, even if you've had your 7 or 8 hours. You need caffeine to get you going. You crash in the afternoons and you fall asleep in front of the telly at night. And you feel constantly tired but wired. It's so hard to relax. What about your sleep? Sleep's become a battlefield. You struggle to fall asleep. You struggle to stay asleep. You could practically set your watch by those 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. wake-up calls. And when you finally do get up, it's like you haven't even been to sleep, you're that tired. What about the brain fog that's driving you crazy? You can't think straight, hard to focus, you struggle to remember why you even walked into the room, and what was that thing again? It's like someone has turned off the lights inside your head. That's cortisol brain for you. And emotionally, you're all over the place, constantly on edge, easily overwhelmed, unable to handle the stress like you used to. And it's not exactly depression. It's just that everything just feels really disconnected somehow. And that's not even the half of it. What about the belly fat that just won't budge no matter what you do? That's your cortisol belly. And your libido, well, that's officially left the building. Gut health? IBS that suddenly goes crazy. Food sensitivities, the list just gets longer and longer. Bloating, all of it. And you've been told your blood pressure's high. Maybe you have a bit of pre-diabetes. And yep, you've been offered even more meds for all of that. Your periods are all over the place. They're too heavy, they're too long, they're too erratic. And let's not even talk about the hot flushes and the weird aches and pains and the mood wobbles that you've been blaming on the menopause. Now, any one of these things would be enough to be a challenge. But when you've got all of them going on all at once, it's hell. And I call this your cortisol constellation of symptoms. It's not any one of these things in isolation, but it's the whole picture that they create when you look at them in combination. In other words, when you start to join the dots. So far, we've talked about your acute stress response and your chronic stress response, cortisol, both permanently being stuck in their on mode and creating merry hell. And as you now know, they're responsible for your cortisol constellation. And in the meantime, we've been blaming it on our menopause or our age, and we're trying to tackle it all by pushing through and keeping going. But there's something else you need to know. Both adrenaline and cortisol are produced by your adrenal glands. And when the stress response gets stuck in on mode, your adrenals are working hard all of the time. But your adrenals don't work in isolation. They're part of a much bigger team, like a whole communication network, if you like. And that includes your pineal gland in your brain. It's like a cool little light meter that governs your sleep-wake cycle. Your hypothalamus, which is your master regulator. Your pituitary gland, which is like the control tower of all of your hormones. These glands all sit in your brain. Then there's the autonomic nervous system, which balances the stress and relaxation responses. And then the adrenal glands themselves, those tiny little sized glands, the size of your thumbnails, parked on top of your kidneys in your abdominal cavity, that push out adrenaline and cortisol. And in the menopause, they do an extra job by producing estriol, which is menopausal estrogen. Now, all of this together is called your HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. And when that chronic stress patterning goes on and on, we get what we call HPA axis dysfunction, or to give it a much simpler and easier to remember name, adrenal fatigue. So adrenal fatigue is the name we give to HPA axis dysfunction. And this dysfunction so often gets missed or dismissed because it's not just one symptom, it's like a whole bunch of things that creep up on you slowly over time. And as we've already said, you kind of have to pull back and look at the whole thing and join the dots. We dismiss it because we tell ourselves it's just my age, it's just the menopause. Maybe I just need a holiday or a break. Maybe I'll wait till the kids leave home and then I'll start to feel better, because we put up with it. We endure it. We normalize it. We push through. So for all these reasons, this HPA axis dysfunction doesn't really get the bandwidth, the front page news that it deserves, because we put up with it. We endure it and we keep pushing through until one day you realize you just can't. And let's be clear, this isn't about you being too sensitive. This is literally your biology doing what it was designed to do, to respond to stress, to keep you alive, and to protect you. And right now, it probably feels like the opposite, like your body is fighting you because you're feeling so tired, so depleted, and like you've lost touch with who you even are anymore. But trust me when I say this, the vibrant, confident, energetic, ambitious powerhouse woman you used to be, she's still in there. She's just buried beneath the years of cortisol-driven survival. And this is what I call functional burnout, a state where you're still performing, but you have lost your aliveness, your vitality, your thriving, and your health. It's like your foot is pressed on the accelerator, but the tank is empty. You're revving the engine, but the fuel is no longer there to burn. It's not a disease. It's a functional state or a dysfunctional state. And it's very real. And despite all of the things you've been told by your friends, by the medical establishment, by society, I want you to know HPA axis dysfunction or adrenal fatigue is very real, and you are not imagining things. So why have we got it the wrong way around for so long? Why has no one told us, midlife women, about this chronic stress patterning and the cortisol constellation that it creates? Why doesn't every woman know about this? Well, here's the tricky part. Conventional medicine doesn't have a name for this HPA axis dysfunction. It doesn't have a label for it. And unless your cortisol is almost zero, which is a very rare condition called Addison's disease, your blood tests basically look normal, and your doctor doesn't have anything else in their toolkit for this. So you might be offered a prescription, to manage your IBS symptoms or those migraines that have gone crazy, or stuff to help stabilize your mood, support your anxiety. Maybe you're on blood pressure pills or something else to help you sleep. Don't take too many though. The list goes on. And if you're someone who's really persistent with your doctor, you might start to be referred to a specialist or two or three, gynecology, rheumatology, endocrinology, gastroenterology. Maybe the mental health services for your mood, or maybe it's because maybe I have a missed ADHD diagnosis. The list goes on. Most women I see in my functional medicine clinic have been to at least 5 different specialists, and they still don't have any real answers. And you might end up with diagnoses like, you've got chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia syndrome. These are really more descriptions than actual diagnoses. And in the meanwhile, no one is joining the dots when your body is screaming for someone to just connect it all together. You don't need another diet, a protocol, a supplement stack, a prescription, or a referral to yet another specialist. And you definitely don't need to try harder. What you need is a system that creates deep healing at root cause level. One that starts with this fundamental truth. Your fatigue isn't something to override, it's something to listen to. Your exhaustion isn't a sign that you're broken, it's a powerful message from your body, like a request for safety, for slowing down, for coming home, and for healing at the root. And that's why I created the Cortisol Code. It's my step-by-step, science-based strategy that helps ambitious midlife women like you recover their cortisol axis, reverse all those adrenal fatigue symptoms, heal your HPA axis dysfunction, and powerfully reclaim your energy, vitality, and joy for life. It's the exact roadmap I use with my clients when we're working together to break free from chronic fatigue, brain fog, everything else that comes with that cortisol constellation, so you can stop surviving and start truly thriving. Now, today we've talked about why you feel this way, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be showing you how to start making real lasting shifts, because right now this is just the beginning. You don't need to do more, you simply need to think differently and understand what's going on beneath the surface. That's when the real healing can begin. Now, so the good news is you don't need to start adding more to your to-do list. You just need to really understand about what your body really needs as her next step. And the very first thing you need to do is to start creating safety so your body can finally relax, exhale, and switch off those alarm bells. And after that, it's about learning how to live in a way that works with your body, not overrides her, not works against her. And when you start doing that, everything changes. Healing begins. Your energy starts to return. Your mind clears. And you stop living in survival mode. And you start coming back to the real you. So right now, you've been in survival mode for probably way longer than you realize. Pushing through, holding it all together, and telling yourself you're fine, when deep down, you know you're not really. But this is what I believe. You deserve so much more than just to feel okay. You deserve to feel amazing, like the real you again. You deserve to feel clear and calm and have natural energy and feel totally present and whole within yourself, so that you can live your life true to the woman that you really are. So you can fulfill on your life's purpose. You can build your legacy. You can run a successful business, finish your career on an all-time high, have your most powerful decade yet, as you bring together all of your life experience, your wisdom, and capitalize on your unique knowledge and skills. And as you start to make the difference that you are meant to create, because all of that matters. And for all of that, we need incredible, rock solid, all day, unshakable energy and vitality. So it really is time to stop putting up and shutting up, I think is the English expression. And instead, we need to take action, powerful action. And that's why I created the Cortisol Code, that proven framework for real and lasting recovery. But before we take you deeper into all of that, let's get clear on something else first. Let's figure out where you are in the cortisol constellation. Where is your chronic stress system stuck? And what exactly is keeping you locked into those chronic stress patterns? This is about getting real grounded clarity around what's actually happening inside your body. And that's why we've created this beautiful free 2-minute quiz for you. Why am I so tired all the time? It's not just a checklist. It's a clinical lens into your stress system. And when you take the quiz, you'll get a personalized profile showing you exactly which stress patterns you're stuck in, why you've been feeling this way, and your first steps to start shifting it. You'll find the link just below the video. So I want to thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe and ask me any questions that you have. This is all about getting you back to feeling like the real you again. So much love, Dr. M.